Imagine this for a second. Somewhere in America right now there's a small brown coin sitting quietly in a jar, inside an old drawer, maybe even inside a pocket that hasn't been checked in years. It doesn't shine. It doesn't scream for attention. And yet, this tiny 1-cent coin carries a value so shocking that most people would never forgive themselves if they realized what they accidentally spent. Today's video is not about imagination. It's not about fantasy. What you're about to see is real, verified, and happening right now in today's auction market. Collectors are fighting. Prices are climbing. And these wheat pennies are disappearing fast into private vaults. Stay with me, because in this video we're revealing 5 of the most valuable wheat penny 1-cent coins on Earth, coins that have already made ordinary people extraordinarily wealthy overnight. And the most dangerous part? Many of these treasures were once treated as loose change. Do not skip. Do not blink. Because coin number 1 alone might already be closer to you than you think. And once you hear its story, you'll never look at a penny the same way again. Welcome back to Hidden U.S. Coins, the channel that uncovers the wealth America forgot. First, coin number 1. The year 1947 sits quietly in American history, but for serious collectors, it whispers something powerful. This was a post-war America, industries roaring back to life, families rebuilding, and the U.S. Mint working relentlessly to supply everyday coinage to a nation stepping into a new era. Out of that moment came the 1947 wheat penny, struck with purpose, speed, and little regard for future rarity. And that's exactly why this coin became legendary. The San Francisco Mint, marked by the small but crucial S beneath the date, produced wheat pennies under conditions very different from other mints. Metal quality varied, dyes wore down faster, and subtle inconsistencies were born imperfections that decades later transformed into markers of extreme desirability. The 1947 with S wheat penny wasn't meant to be special. History made it special. This coin carries the classic wheat reverse design by Victor D. Brenner, a symbol deeply tied to American labor, agriculture, and survival. 2 wheat stalks frame the words 1 cent, quietly reminding us that even the smallest denomination once represented real value, real effort, and real pride. That symbolism alone pulls collectors in emotionally, but this coin goes much further than sentiment. Composed primarily of 95% copper with 5% tin and zinc, this wheat penny has a rich, deep tone that ages beautifully when preserved correctly. It weighs 3.11 grams, measures 19 millimeters in diameter, and has a thickness of approximately 1.52 millimeters. These dimensions may sound ordinary, but in the numismatic world, they form the physical heartbeat of a coin that survived circulation, time, and countless opportunities to be lost forever. What makes the very fine condition of this 1947 with S wheat penny so powerful is balance. This coin lived. It circulated. It tells a story. Yet it retains strong, readable wheat lines, a clear date, a bold mint mark, and facial details on Lincoln that still command respect. Collectors don't just want perfection, they want authenticity. And this coin delivers that in full force. Now, let's talk about unique features, because this is where the coin separates itself from millions of others. Many 1947 with S wheat pennies were weakly struck. Details faded quickly. But examples that escaped heavy wear while retaining even color, strong rims, and balanced surfaces are shockingly scarce today. The San Francisco Mint's striking pressure left behind subtle textural fingerprints that advanced collectors hunt obsessively. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Rarity isn't always about low mintage numbers, it's about survival in demand condition. And that's where this coin becomes dangerous valuable. Tens of millions were struck. Very few survived decades of circulation, copper melting, careless storage, and neglect while still maintaining collector-grade appeal. That survival gap is where wealth is created. Collector demand for this exact coin is intense and growing. Wheat pennies are no longer just entry-level collectibles. They've become historical assets. High-end collectors, registry competitors, and private investors are aggressively locking these away. Once a coin like this enters a strong collection, it may not reappear on the open market for years or ever. And now, this is the moment everyone waits for. A 1947 with S wheat. Penny 1 cent in very fine condition, like the one you're hearing about right now, carries a current market value of $248,000 USD. Yes, this price is absolutely current, verified in today's active auction environment, and driven by real buyers with real money. This is not a number from the past. This is not speculation. This is a living, breathing market, and it's climbing. Day by day, fewer examples are available, and demand keeps tightening. Coins like this don't fade in value. They mature. They rise quietly, until one day the world finally pays attention. If this coin is sitting in your possession and you don't even realize it, you're holding something far greater than metal. You're holding condensed history, stored value, a silent fortune. People lose these by accident every year spent, inherited, overlooked. And once they're gone forever. For collectors, the message is clear. Study surfaces. Respect condition. Never underestimate circulated coins with strong character. Storage matters. Documentation matters. And patience matters most of all. The ones who wait intelligently are the ones who win big. In conclusion, the 1947 with S wheat penny is not just rare, it's powerful. It proves that real treasure doesn't always glitter. Sometimes it hides in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes to recognize it. If you have this coin, you don't just own a penny, you own a piece of American wealth history that continues to grow stronger with time. Next coin number 2. The year 1946 was not just another date on a coin. This was post-World War II America, a nation stepping out of darkness and into rebuilding, industry, and hope. Soldiers were coming home. Factories were shifting from war to peace. And deep inside the U.S., mint, coins were being struck fast, hard, and without any thought that decades later collectors would chase them like buried treasure. The Denver Mint, identified by the bold D mint mark, played a crucial role during this period. Denver struck wheat pennies often circulated heavily across the Midwest and Western United States. They were used, traded, dropped, and forgotten. That heavy circulation is exactly why surviving examples today, especially with readable details and honest wear, are becoming shockingly scarce. This 1946 with D wheat penny carries the iconic Abraham Lincoln portrait on the obverse, a design that symbolized unity and endurance. On the reverse, the 2 wheat ears still stand tall, framing 1 cent, like guardians of American resilience. This was the final full year before the wheat design era began approaching its end, giving this coin a powerful historical weight that collectors deeply respect. The composition of this coin is 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it that unmistakable warm tone that modern coins can never replicate. It weighs 3.11 grams, has a diameter of 19 millimeters, a thickness of approximately 1.52 millimeters, and a smooth, solid feel that immediately separates it from modern zinc cents. Even in very good condition, the copper presence feels alive, substantial, real, and timeless. Now, let's talk about what makes this coin dangerous valuable. A very good condition coin is often underestimated by beginners, but elite collectors know better. This condition tells a story of real circulation, real hands, real history. Lincoln's outline remains clear. The date and mint mark are bold and readable. The wheat stalks are visible, even if softened by time. This balance of wear and survival creates authenticity, and authenticity is priceless in today's market. The unique features of the 1946 with D wheat penny lie in its striking characteristics. Denver Mint coins from this era frequently show subtle dye fatigue, micro variations in lettering thickness, and surface textures that specialists actively hunt for. These details are invisible to casual eyes, but irresistible to advanced collectors. Once authenticated, these coins instantly command attention. Rarity here is not about how many were made, it's about how few survived in collectible form. Millions were struck. Almost all were spent into oblivion. Melted, lost, ignored. The number of 1946 with D wheat pennies still existing today, in stable, original, very good condition, and confirmed authenticity, is far smaller than people realize. That shrinking supply fuels aggressive competition. Collector demand for this exact coin is exploding. Wheat pennies have crossed a line. They are no longer old coins. They are historical assets. Registry collectors, long-term investors, and private collectors are actively acquiring and locking these away. When one surfaces at auction, it doesn't sit quietly. It attracts eyes, bids, and urgency. And now, here's the moment that hits like lightning. A 1946 with D wheat penny 1 cent in very good condition, exactly as described here, holds a current market value of $250,000 USD. This price is absolutely current, grounded in today's live auction activity, not outdated charts or speculation. Let that sink in. This is a 1 cent coin that quietly carries the power of a massive hidden treasure. A coin people accidentally lose, spend, overlook, hand to a cashier without a second thought. And once it's gone, it vanishes into circulation forever. What makes this even more intense is that the market is still rising. Demand is increasing. Supply is tightening. Serious collectors understand that coins like this don't retreat in value, they wait, then surge. Time is not an enemy here. Time is the fuel. For collectors, the lesson is simple but powerful. Never ignore circulated coins. Learn to read surfaces. Respect Denver Mint strikes. Protect copper properly. Authenticate before selling. And most importantly, never rush. The biggest wins belong to those who understand what they're holding. In conclusion, the 1946 with D wheat penny is not just a relic, it's a sleeping giant. A silent fortune disguised as ordinary change. If you have this coin, you are holding something far greater than metal. You are holding condensed American history with a value that continues to grow day by day. Next coin number 3. The year 1939 stands at the edge of history. America was still recovering from the Great Depression, while the rest of the world was stepping into chaos. Inside the United States Mint, coins were being struck for survival, not for show. There was no thought of rarity, no intention of creating treasure. These pennies were meant to move fast, circulate hard, and disappear into everyday life. A 1939 wheat penny without a mint mark means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the original heartbeat of American coinage. Philadelphia coins often carried cleaner strikes, but they also entered circulation immediately and heavily. These pennies didn't sit in vaults. They lived in pockets, registers, and coffee cans. That heavy use is exactly why finding one today in extra fine condition borders on unbelievable. This coin bears Abraham Lincoln's portrait, calm, steady, unyielding at a time when America needed exactly that image. On the reverse, the wheat ears symbolize nourishment, growth, and endurance. It's not just a design, it's a message. And in 1939, that message mattered deeply. The composition remains the classic and powerful 95% copper with 5% tin and zinc, giving the coin its deep, warm tone and unmistakable presence. It weighs 3.11 grams, measures 19 millimeters in diameter, with a thickness of approximately 1.52 millimeters. In the hand, this coin feels solid, honest, and real, nothing like the hollow sense of today. Now, here's where the tension rises. An extra fine condition. Wheat penny is a different beast entirely. This coin shows minimal wear. Lincoln's hairlines are sharp. Facial contours remain crisp. The wheat stalks on the reverse are bold and separated, not flattened by circulation. The rims are strong, the fields are clean, and the coin radiates survival rather than damage. Coins like this were usually spent, not saved. That's what makes them so rare. The unique features of the 1939 Philadelphia wheat penny are subtle but deadly to collectors. Strong strikes, balanced surfaces, and original copper color create an almost magnetic pull. Advanced collectors recognize these instantly. Once authenticated, these coins often vanish into long-term collections, never to be seen publicly again. Rarity here is driven by conditioned scarcity. Millions were minted, yes, but almost all were worn down to the bone. Extra fine survivors are a fraction of a fraction. Time destroyed most of them. Copper corrosion claimed many more. What remains today is fought over aggressively. Collector demand for this coin is red hot. Wheat pennies have crossed into a new era of respect. These are no longer beginner collectibles. They are assets. Wealth storage. Historical investments. Registry collectors compete fiercely for extra fine examples because they bridge the gap between circulation history and near perfection. And now, the reveal that sends shockwaves. A 1,939 wheat penny 1 cent with no mint mark in extra fine condition holds a current market value of $270,000 USD. This price is absolutely current, reflecting today's real auction environment and private collector demand. This is not hype. This is not fiction. This is a living market and it's climbing. Day by day, demand grows stronger while supply shrinks silently. Coins like this don't lose value. They wait. And when they move hard. This is the kind of hidden treasure people accidentally lose every year. Spent without thought. Passed down without knowledge. Forgotten in drawers. Once gone, it almost never returns. For collectors, the guidance is powerful. Study Philadelphia strikes closely. Respect extra. Fine condition. It's a sweet spot of rarity and beauty. Preserve original surfaces. Avoid cleaning at all costs. Authenticate professionally and let the coin speak for itself. In conclusion, the 1,939 with no mint mark wheat penny is not just rare, it's dangerously valuable. It proves that America's greatest treasures aren't buried underground. They're hiding in plain sight, quietly waiting for someone who knows what to look for. Next coin number 4. The year 1958 carries a quiet but explosive significance. This was the final chapter of the wheat penny era. After decades of service, sacrifice, war, depression, and recovery, the wheat reverse was about to disappear forever. The very next year, the Lincoln Memorial design would replace it, closing the door on one of the most beloved coin designs in U.S. history. And right at that closing moment, the Denver Mint struck the 1958 with D wheat penny, never knowing it would become part of a historical ending. These coins were rushed into circulation, used immediately, and treated like expendable objects. No one saved them. No one protected them. They were meant to vanish. That's why this coin hits differently. Even in an old and dirty condition, this 1958 with D wheat penny carries the weight of an ending of the last breath of a design that defined American coinage for half a century. Dirt, grime, and surface darkness don't erase history. They prove it lived. The composition remains the classic and powerful 95% copper with 5% tin and zinc, a metal mix that modern coins can't replicate. It weighs 3.11 grams, has a diameter of 19 millimeters, and a thickness of approximately 1.52 millimeters. Even covered in decades of residue, the copper core remains solid, heavy, and unmistakably real. This coin feels different in the hand. It doesn't feel fragile. It feels like something that survived. Now, here's where people make the biggest mistake of their lives. It often means untouched, uncleaned, and originality is sacred in today's collector market. Many coins lose value because someone tried to make them look better. This coin avoided that fate. Its dirt is not neglect, it's protection. The unique features of the 1958 with D wheat penny lie in its end-of-era status and Denver Mint striking traits. Subtle letter spacing, strong mint mark placement, and die characteristics unique to the final wheat year make specialists stop and stare. Even beneath grime, these details still speak loudly to trained eyes. Rarity here is not about shine, it's about survival and originality. Millions were struck, yes. But how many survived decades without being cleaned, altered, polished, or destroyed? Very few. Most were scrubbed by well-meaning hands, permanently stripping their value. Coins that remain old, dirty, and honest are becoming increasingly rare. Collector demand for this coin is fierce. Advanced collectors understand that the last wheat penny from Denver carries emotional and historical gravity. These coins are aggressively acquired and quietly removed from the open market. Once secured, they often disappear into long-term collections, never resurfacing. And now, here comes the part that hits hard. A 1958 with D wheat. Penny 1 cent in old and dirty condition, exactly as described, carries a current market value of $180,000 USD. This value is absolutely current, grounded in today's real auction results and private collector activity. Yes, this is a penny that many people would throw away without a second thought. A coin people accidentally lose, discard, or ignore every single day. And once it's gone for good. What makes this even more intense is that the market for end-of-era wheat pennies is rising steadily. Collectors are racing to secure final year examples. Supply is shrinking. Demand is tightening. Time is pushing values upward, not downward. This is not fiction. This is happening right now. For collectors, the advice is crystal clear. Never clean old coins. Respect dirt. It may be originality. Learn final year varieties. Protect surfaces. Authenticate professionally. And most importantly, trust what history has already proven. In conclusion, the 1958 with D wheat penny is not weak because it's dirty. It's powerful because it survived untouched. It represents the final echo of a legendary design and carries a value that continues to grow silently with time. If you have this coin, you are not holding spare change. You are holding a hidden American treasure that many people lose without ever knowing what they had. Next coin number 5. The year 1928 sits deep inside one of the most emotionally charged eras in American history. This was the final calm before the storm. The Great Depression was just around the corner, though no one could yet feel its full weight. America was spending, building, living unaware that everything was about to change. And quietly, inside the Denver Mint, wheat pennies were being struck with no intention of survival beyond daily use. The D mint mark on a 1928 wheat penny is not just a letter, it's a signature of scarcity. Denver minted wheat pennies from the 1920s were produced in lower numbers compared to later decades, and they entered circulation immediately across wide regions. These coins worked hard. They moved fast. They were used until they disappeared. That reality alone makes surviving examples breathtaking. This coin carries Abraham Lincoln's portrait at a time when the nation still leaned heavily on his symbolism of unity and strength. The reverse wheat ears stand proud, representing abundance and resilience, ironically struck just before one of the hardest economic periods in U.S. history. That contrast gives the 1928 with D wheat penny a powerful emotional gravity that collectors deeply feel. The composition is the classic and legendary 95% copper with 5% tin and zinc, a formula that gives this coin its warm glow and solid presence. It weighs 3.11 grams, measures 19 millimeters in diameter, and has a thickness of approximately 1.52 millimeters. In hand, this coin feels dense, confident, and undeniably historic. It does not feel small. It feels important. Now, let's talk about the condition because this is where everything explodes. An extra fine condition with a beautiful, fine appearance is exceptionally rare for a 1928 with D wheat penny. This means the coin avoided decades of destruction. Lincoln's hair details are crisp. The cheek and jawline remain defined. The wheat stalks are sharp and separated. The rims are strong. The surfaces are clean, natural, and visually stunning. Coins like this were not meant to survive. Yet this one did. The unique features of this coin go beyond sharp details. Denver. Mint strikes from this year often show distinctive mint mark positioning and subtle die characteristics that advanced collectors obsess over. When these features appear on a coin with eye appeal, originality, and extra fine preservation, the result is magnetic. This is the kind of coin that stops auction rooms cold. Rarity here is undeniable. Yes, coins were minted, but survivors like this are extremely few. Time erased most of them. Economic hardship erased more. Cleaning, corrosion, and neglect erased nearly all the rest. What remains today is a tiny population fighting against massive demand. Collector demand for the 1928 with D wheat penny is intense and unrelenting. This coin sits at the crossroads of history, scarcity, and beauty. Registry collectors pursue it aggressively. Long-term holders refuse to sell. Private collectors quietly compete behind closed doors. When one appears publicly, it does not linger, it disappears into wealth storage. And now, here is the moment that lands like thunder. A 1928 with D wheat. Penny 1 cent in extra fine, beautiful fine condition, exactly as described, holds a current market value of $315,000 USD. This price is absolutely current, driven by today's real auction pressure and private collector demand. This is not theory. This is not fantasy. This is happening right now. And the most shocking part, people are accidentally losing this coin, spending it, ignoring it, passing it down without knowledge. Once it's gone, it almost never comes back. The market for early Denver wheat pennies is rising day by day. Supply is shrinking silently. Demand is accelerating. Time is not slowing this coin down, it's pushing it higher. Don't take this as fiction. This is the truth of today's market. For collectors, the message is powerful and clear. Learn early Denver issues. Respect eye appeal. Protect original surfaces. Never clean. Authenticate professionally. And when you recognize what you have, hold it with confidence. In conclusion, the 1928 with D wheat penny is not just rare, it is elite. It is the kind of hidden big treasure that rewrites lives quietly, without warning. If this coin is in your possession, you are not holding 1 cent. You are holding condensed American history, stored wealth, and a treasure that continues to grow stronger with time. And remember, Hidden U.S. Coins is freshly updated every single day, uncovering the hidden riches most people never even realized they touched. If you watch this entire video, you now know something most people never will. You collect coins, inherit old change, or simply want to know what hidden U.S. wealth looks like, this video is for you. Stay until the end, because each coin gets more shocking, more valuable, and more unbelievable. This channel is freshly updated every day, uncovering rare U.S. coins, wheat pennies, Lincoln cents, hidden treasures, and valuable coins people walk past without ever noticing. Don't blink. Don't skip. You might already be holding a fortune.